everyone, and welcome to today's General Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Let's get right to it because I am on a time crunch, and also it was a really great episode. I don't want to miss anything, so let's get right to it. At the room that Curtis and Jordan are in, Jordan and Curtis spent the evening together. It's still the nighttime though, and they enjoyed each other's company, needless to say. Curtis is going to tell her all his plans for tonight. They toast to them, and then her phone goes off. I wrote pager, and then it occurred to me no one had a pager in 20 years. I don't know why I'm stuck on pagers. It's Anna. Anna told, and Curtis is like, and Jordan's like, well, Anna's the one who told me to go out with you, but it was very Alex, but she doesn't know that yet. So Jordan says that she has to go to work. It's a classified event that has happened. Curtis gets it, but he does hate letting her go, and she promises to make it up to him. Curtis, after she leaves, Curtis goes to put the food, or the leftover, the leftover room service in the hallway, and Grace passes him, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the woman he met for Valentine's Day, and she asks him to go out for a drink, even though she clearly sees that he has a dinner companion, as they call her. Well, obviously not there, but that she was there. So he declines. She's happy for him and his dinner companion. They might end up being neighbors if the interview she's going for goes well. But the whole thing is there's a lot of tension and not happiness, because I'm pretty sure they didn't end on good terms, considering that, he's with Jordan now so soon after. Are the roses a bit much? Got rid of the roses. They seem like a bit much, and now I've lost my place. What more could go wrong today? Okay, so at Lante's, Anna calls Nathan. She's outside and tells him the canister was destroyed. Anna comes in to update Laura and Lulu. She tells them that Valentin was shot and he's in surgery. She tells them all about the Chimera, the fugitive situation with Valentin, Helena, all of it. So had the Chimera been opened, it would have been bad, to say the least. I don't know, worse than when someone almost or did freeze Port Charles. That happened. Lulu asked what she should tell Charlotte, and Anna said, Anna's like, I'll text you. And Laura asks about Valentin's involvement in what happened tonight, and she says, just tell Charlotte that her father was brave. At General Hospital, Valentin wakes up. Nina is by his side. He's going to go have surgery. He saved her life. He makes her promise no matter what, she remember that he loved her. So she tells him that he's going to be okay. All that matters to her is that he loves her and she loves him too. So he just needs to get okay, to be okay. And Valentin says Charlotte needs her, Nina, and she doesn't want him to leave. No, she doesn't want to leave, but she'll go spend time with Charlotte, and she kisses him before she goes. So Nina leaves and runs into Nathan. He wants her to take a breath. He wants to tell her more about Valentin's involvement and what happened, but she has to go get Charlotte, and Lou's gonna let her take her. Okay. Also at the hospital, Anna catches up with Nathan, fills him in on the Chimera, selling it to Helena Cassadine, Jake's involvement, Valentin's involvement, the whole thing. Also tells him that Valentin gave the Chimera to her in the parking garage. The argument they had, how she originally thought he was going to sell it, but he just wanted to destroy it too. He got the phone call about Nina, and he gave Anna the toxin to go destroy it while he saved Nina. And for a second there, Nathan's like, and put my sister's life in jeopardy. But Anna's like, yeah, but your sister's fine, so get over it. The Chimera isn't a threat to anyone anymore. Jordan finds Anna, tells her about the Chimera and how it's done. She programmed Jake Weber to set it off. It didn't happen. Valentin Cassadine sold to Helena the first time, and her sister got him to steal it. And Jordan's like, wait, your sister? So she fills her in on the drug-induced coma she's been in for the past 2 months, and that her sister even arranged her treatments though, so it's all good. And she's back, and the Chimera is destroyed. And then Nathan has an update on Valentin. Also at the hospital, Kiki calls Ava to check in. Dylan finds her. He brought her good coffee. There's a severely injured patient heading to the burn unit who's in the ER right now. And normally, Kiki wouldn't have to be in the burn unit, but they need all hands on deck right now. So she wants to talk about Ava and how weird she was acting. And it was weird to Dylan too. And she was so intense but distracted. So Kiki thinks this is all about Avery, how she thinks she's going to get more access to her because of the divorce. And then when she realizes she's not, she's she's so wound up. And Dylan tells her, it's not her job to fix her mom. Epiphany finds Kiki, and she has bad news to tell her. So Ava is the burn patient from the ER. Kiki can't go see her. There's a risk of infection too high. They're still evaluating her. Dylan kind of helps her through it. Ava has 2nd and 3rd degree burns on 50% of her body. And Epiphany says that she's getting the best care she can. And Kiki asks Epiphany to tell Ava that she loves her. Something I think she will later regret. So at Lante's, Laura tells her Lulu not to judge herself for or morbid thoughts she may be having about Valentin. And Laura is very focused on Nicholas's murder, basically. So Lulu says Charlotte loves him, though, and she'd be devastated. And as much as Lulu would love this easy sole custody, she doesn't want to see Charlotte go through that kind of pain, which I think shows the growth of Lulu. And if Nina had overheard that, it would kind of probably change her mind about Lulu a little bit. Too many L's. But there's someone at the door. It's Nina. So she asks how Charlotte is, and Lulu says she's sleeping like an angel and invites Nina in reluctantly. She tells them that Nina tells them that Valentin is a hero, and they're like, oh, you don't know. And Laura tells her everything tonight was set in motion by Valentin. Anna told them about the Chimera, how he stole it from the WSB and sold it to Helena Cassadine. And Nina says that makes no sense. He hated Helena Cassadine. Laura's like, no, I know, but Anna said that he needed the money to get some surgery so he could, like, escape the WSB. So Nina's like, no matter what, it was decades ago, and they're like, yeah, but he knew it was out there, and he could have warned someone, and Helena was able to program Jake, and, you know, Emma and Charlotte would have been the first exposed, like, to put your kids, or, you know, kids at risk like that. So Nina doesn't think Anna's version is the truth, but Laura's like, no, even Anna said there was mitigating circumstances. It's like she understands why he did what he did, just doesn't approve of that he did it. So Laura says that if Valentin hadn't done what he did, no one would have been in danger. Let me get my windows up before the person next to me thinks I'm a total and complete crazy person. So Laura says that if no one would have been in danger. And Nina thinks about when Valentin told her he did bad things in the WSB. He was a bad man, and he did very, very bad things. And Nina comes to the realization that it was, in fact, him who did this. At the PCPD, Sonny and Carly tell Dante they have nothing to hide. They want to confront Ava about what she did to Morgan. And Dante's like, what did she do to Morgan? And Carly tells him that she replaced his lithium with placebos that led to his death. And Sonny says that she admitted it, pulled out her gun. Baldwin said that, you know, she was running away, and that's where he thought to look for her, that she would have stashed passports and money at her warehouse because the gallery in her house would be too obvious. The door was open, and it was dark, and it was like a maze just to get where they got. They found Ava, and Ava wound up throwing the lamp at Carly, which is how the fire started. She messed with Morgan's medication because she wanted him away from Kiki, and Dante thinks that's like he's in disbelief, basically. And he's like, yeah, but this is all motive for you to do this. But Sonny says that he wouldn't have publicly talked with everyone about Ava, or publicly gotten the meds checked, or even talked to Dante about this whole thing if he was planning something like this, because that would make him suspect number one, which he knows he would have been anyway. So just it doesn't make sense. Carly says that she called her out and challenged Ava, and that's when Ava got mad and threw the lamp. And she said Ava said that it was their fault. I can't talk. Their fort. They built a fort. It was their fault Morgan died. They weren't good parents. They didn't have him committed. Then they explained kind of the setup, that they were on two different sides of the fire. Sonny told Ava that he and Carly were leaving. She didn't seem worried. There was a back door, and they were using a cell phone flashlight to escape. And Dante's like, well, why didn't you go out the back door? And they're like, I don't know. I don't know. They honestly don't have the answers. They could hear her calling once they got out, but they couldn't go back in to help. And Sonny says that she started the fire herself and trapped herself. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't Good Samaritan laws apply to them at that point? I mean, they would have most certainly died if they went back in anyway, and they were told not to go back in. But like, at that point, they're just like any other Samaritan who would have been walking down the street. Like, you don't have to do something if you don't want to. I mean, it's callous, but it's true. So I don't like Ava. I have made no secret that I do not like Ava, but I would never wish this on anyone. Dying in a fire is probably the worst, most horrible way to die, and I literally would not wish it on my worst enemy. So I just want to put that out there, just if anyone was wondering. And so Carly and Sonny are free to go. Carly needs a minute to think, though. She's thinking maybe they should have called Diane before they talked to Dante. And Sonny's like, no, evidence backs us up. We really did nothing wrong this time. That we're fine. And Sonny doesn't want Carly to waste compassion on Ava, but I don't think it's compassion. I think it's just humanity, you know? Back at General Hospital, Kiki can't understand, like, why is this happening to her mother? And then Dante comes over and kind of fills her in a little bit. Because she's like, what? Why would my mom run into a burning building? Oh, honey. So Dante's like, no, she wasn't at the gallery. She was at the warehouse. She didn't run into a burning building. She had a confrontation with CARLY and SONNY, and in the warehouse about her involvement in Morgan's death. Ooh, it's the end scene. Strap in. CARLY says that she doesn't feel compassion. SONNY can't stop thinking about Morgan, thinking that, he was doing everything right, and Ava has no idea what she put Morgan through, but they do. And CARLY doesn't want to let this go. Neither should she. What do they do if Ava lives? And they hope she gets charged and tried for what she did. Lucy and Scott both know and can testify. Scott probably wouldn't, but Lucy, learning the truth about what she was really covering up, I'm sure she would have no problem testifying. She would be horrified. But nothing will bring Morgan back. At least there's no more questions. They know why he died, but it doesn't lessen the grief. CARLY needs to talk to Bobby and Jocelyn. SONNY has to go see Avery. At least she's little. She won't understand. One second. And CARLY asks him to give her a hug from her. And I don't know. I see a path to reconciliation, to be quite honest with you. Dante talks to Kiki about Morgan. How he wasn't getting his lithium. And Kiki's like, yeah, I had a feeling he was off his medication. And Dante's like, no, he wasn't. Ava replaced his lithium pills with placebos. And Kiki's like, no, you had to have made a mistake. Absolutely not. And Dante's like, no, Ava admitted it. And there's evidence. And Kiki's in disbelief. She's broken because I think she realizes why Ava would do this for her. Not for her, but because of her, to keep her away from Morgan. As she's broken. She breaks down. She cries. Dylan, thank goodness Dylan's there for her because she is just a broken person now. Nina says that Valentin never said anything about the Chimera specifically, but he did talk about his past, and Lulu asked why he didn't warn someone. He just left it out there to be used against his and other people's children. Nina asked Lulu not to tell Charlotte, and Lulu's like, oh, I guess that changes my plans for the next week. Like, of course I wasn't going to tell her. Are you serious? And just for Nina to say that, she must, I feel like she's such this twisted, warped version of Lulu in her head for her to even say that to her. I can't. So Nina leaves and seems kind of broken too. Anna comes in to see Valentin. He thinks it's Nina at first, and he asks about Charlotte. She says that Charlotte's fine, and that he'll be fine too, just be in a lot of pain for a little bit, and the Chimera was absolutely destroyed. She personally saw to it. Alex is in custody. She will turn Valentin in, whether she wants to or not. He will be charged with treason and more, and wind up spending his life in Supermax. And she squeezes his hand, and I think she's telling him to run without saying it. So that is it for today's General Hospital recap. Thank you so much for watching. We're on a little bit of an abbreviated week this week, but I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!